and choosing because you have suffered and you want to silence the truth, you are protecting yourself. But protecting yourself is harming millions of people that you don't know. And the most scary thing is that the millions of people include your unborn children.
Now, we live in a society where everybody is afraid to speak because of retaliation. Everybody is scared to have my family at home and so on, or being jailed. But it takes courage. Whistleblowers are not troublemakers. They just love the good and lot of the country.
If they can come to report and they know that after reporting there is some action, legal action and justice, they will trust about the process and they will come to blow the whistle. So I think that we need something strong, and we need also a political will from our leaders to put in place a law, but to be able to apply it at the same time.
Hello and welcome to Step Up Nigeria's podcast. Our podcast is an initiative built to create awareness of governance issues that highlight the cost of corruption and its impact on service delivery. On today's podcast, we're discussing who protects the truth tellers. It's World Whistleblower Day on June 23rd. You'll probably be watching this podcast that day, so happy World Whistleblower Day. Our podcast topic today is a celebration of World Whistleblower Day and a celebration of whistleblowers all over the world. And especially today, a celebration of our World Whistleblower Day Art and Media Competition. In the studio today, I have all my winners and as well as the representative from PPLAAF. Welcome. As part of our activities to commemorate World Whistleblower Day this year, we launched an art and media competition, and this was in partnership with the Platform to Protect Whistleblowers in Africa, PPLAAF. And we launched this competition inviting youth from all over Nigeria to submit entries that speak to the importance of whistleblowing and advocating for more whistleblower protection and legislation in Nigeria. We understood that whistleblowing is not merely about corruption, but it's about reporting wrongdoing in the interest of public good. We'll talk more about this later as the podcast goes on, but welcome. So I'd like to go around the room and have my guests introduce themselves. So I'll start from my extreme right.
Thank you very much. My name is Oguche Gabriel Onuche. I'm the winner of the written category for the World Whistleblower Day Media and Arts Competition.
Next.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Akinfola Jeremiah Damilola, and I'm the winner from the music category and the just concluded World Whistleblower Day Art and Media Competition.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Anita Wokoji. I go by the stage name Purple Hat Girl, and I am the winner for the spoken words and poetry category for Whistleblowers Art and Media Competition 2026.
All right. And I'll skip. Yeah.
All right. I am Gilbert Owen. I am the winner for the short film and skit category in the just concluded World Whistleblowers Art and Media Competition.
Thank you, Moses.
Hi, my name is Moses Shodipo. I'm the winner of the art category of the World Whistleblower Day Art and Media Competition.
Thank you. And to my left, we have the special honor. You saw him online in the last podcast, but he's here physically with us. We're happy to introduce the Executive Director for the Platform to Protect Whistleblowers in Africa, PPLAAF, in the person of Jimmy Kande. I'll allow him give a bit more introduction to PPLAAF if you missed the last podcast. Over to you, Jimmy.
Thank you so much. So my name is Jimmy Kande, the Executive Director of the Platform to Protect Whistleblowers. As she mentioned, we used to protect whistleblowers in Africa because there is a lack of law to protect whistleblowers, and you know how corruption can have more impact in our society. That's why it's very important to protect whistleblowers. So this is the work that PPLAAF is doing around the continent, and we are here in Nigeria trying to call the attention of everybody to be focused on fighting against corruption and protecting whistleblowers. So that's why we need we have all these winners for trying to promote whistleblowing here in Nigeria.
Thank you, Jimmy. Welcome, and welcome everyone. Let's get into it. All of you are the winners. You came out emerging out of 170 plus entries from over 30 states in Nigeria. You emerged as the top 5 in this competition across categories. So I would like to know, when you first saw the competition, the theme, whistleblowing, what's the first thing that came to your mind? And I'll start with Anita.
First thing that came to my mind, this I never need to continue to do what I usually do as a socially conscious artist, activism, advocacy, and maybe get people to be more politically acquainted. That's the first thing I thought in my head until I went further to make research and realize that it's beyond that. It leads to it, but it's beyond that aspect.
Thank you. Gabriel, your thoughts?
Yeah, so when I first saw the competition, I'm not just a writer, I also do poetry. I intended to write a poem, but then on doing further research, I figured out I could express myself more in, written in an essay because of how much I wanted to speak about the topic, because something that, really affects the lives of people all over the country and all over the continent. And so, yes, I came up with that essay instead.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, as a filmmaker that I am, who is passionate about doing stories that actually reflects to what is happening in the country, when I saw it, and I was like, wow, this is a very good and wonderful opportunity for me to key into it and also lend my voice to advocate for the whistleblowers. And that's why I had to do that project.
Interesting. We'll talk about that a bit more later. Moses?
Thank you very much. When I saw the competition online, I see it as an opportunity to, engage in an ongoing national conversation. And also, we often talk about corruption and misconduct, but we hardly talk about the people that take up the courage to expose those corrupt practices. I think we don't talk about those people who choose courage over silence, that risk their life to, to speak up, irrespective of what may happen later, or fear of retaliation. So it actually takes courage. So I think we talk about the act, we don't talk about the people that actually blow the whistle. So that is sort of opportunity to, engage in that national conversation. Thank you.
All right. The first thing that came to mind when I saw it was I had to go through the rules and the regulations that had to do with the whistleblowing. So I got an insight and I felt like, wow, this is an avenue for me to also lend my voice, as my colleague has said. So I took it as an opportunity because most of the content I create as a musician is based on a certain theme. So I saw this as a different theme. So I had to key into it and also lend my voice.
Thank you all. So we're going to go a bit more in depth into what you created and the story it tells about whistleblowers and whistleblower protection. So Gilbert, like I said, coming back to you. You created a short skit, a short film that follows a janitorial staff member who uncovered a conspiracy plot to assassinate a minister over some contracting malfeasance. Tell us a bit about that, the story, and why you think it's important to tell stories through the eyes of someone like that.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question again. Why I think it is important to tell the story through the eyes of Evie, the character, is because she's, let me know, is the word, a common person, just an ordinary person. She's not the director, not a lawmaker. She doesn't have any power in the movie. She's not a politician. She's just a normal person. So all the acts of corruptions falls back to the normal or the common man. They are the one who actually suffers it. So if she keeps quiet and they do what they're going to do, she will be the one who will be the first hand to suffer it. So for her to summon that courage and say, okay, let me speak. That's why I decided to use it through her POV to tell the story. So if you go down again, there are other people who are also there in her shoes, who have big secrets, but they don't have that courage to speak because they know that their life will be miserable. First, Evie is a widow. She lost her husband, just left with 3 children. So all those thoughts, if you watch the film, even when she's sleeping, is still coming. She sees them chasing her in her dream. So she couldn't stand. And she, no, listen, I have to say it. Because first, there's a part where the husband tells her, he says, Evie, always say the truth. Some truth shall set you free. So then when she heard that word again, she had no option than to pick a phone and call the policeman and say, I have something for you. Then she blew the whistle. So I told it through her eyes, and because normal persons are there too, who are going through the same thing, but don't have the courage to speak. And she was courageous enough to speak. So that's why I use her POV to tell the story.
Thank you very much. The ordinary man's struggle in telling the truth even when your own life is at stake, and that is the plight of whistleblowers today. Thank you very much, Gilbert, for telling that story. So I'm going to move to Moses, and I'd like you to show our viewers a bit of your artwork. Your artwork physically shows pulling open a veil, how a whistleblower pulls back the veil to, reveal hidden truths. So what does that tell us about Nigeria today? What does that curtain represent? Just tell us a bit more about your work.
Thank you very much for that question. The painting is actually an acrylic on canvas painting, and I love to paint impressionistic and realistic paintings that anybody can explain my painting when I'm not there. Because if I paint abstract, people will need my presence for me to interpret my painting. So if you look at this painting, it's divided into 2 sections. The right part, this is the created public image. The leader smiling in a traditional dress with the backdrop of the National Assembly and with the silhouette of a leader addressing the people, and the facade of generosity. This represents generosity. While the left side, this depicts a whistleblower taking up the courage. Every society has a curtain. It takes courage to make that attempt to draw the curtain back so that he or she can expose the evil going underground. We can see that one part, the leader is smiling, pretending to be a good leader, while behind we can see scores that represent, lack of respect for human lives, and then blood and other things which leads a hidden truth, lies and other things. And you can see the paper here, evidence of everything happening underground. Now, we live in a society where everybody is afraid to speak because of retaliation. Everybody is scared. Oh, I'm a family out of my son or being jailed. But it takes courage. Whistleblowers are not troublemakers. They just love the good and development of the country. That's what takes this man to draw back the curtain. Look at what is happening. So that there are things going on. This represents secrecy. So it takes courage to expose the secret things going behind the scene. That's what this painting is all about.
Thank you very much, Moses. You see, we have creativity in the room, and we hope that as we're telling the stories of whistleblowers, more of you listening are encouraged. So I'm going to move to Gabriel. You have a written work, and you can tell us the title and a bit more of what it's about. You make a provocative argument. You said the words, and I quote, "Silence can sometimes be a rational choice for survival." So do you worry that society asks too much from ordinary people? Do you think that whistleblowing is too much to ask based on your piece?
Thank you very much for the question. So I wrote an essay, the commentary on whistleblowing with Nigeria as the, reference. The title of the essay is "In a World of Loud Evil, Silence is Permission." And the way the essay is structured, I tried to explain what whistleblowing is, because there is so much confusion, ambiguity about what whistleblowing is in this country. As we all know, or may not know, there is no comprehensive whistleblower law. We have a whistleblower policy and act that was passed like in 2016, but that's more around financial crime. But a whistleblower law that protects whistleblowers in general does not exist. So in this essay, I tried to explain what whistleblowing is first, and then I tried to explain why the common person in Nigeria would not necessarily want to stand up and speak against wrongdoing. In the essay, I give a reference to a particular musician who is late now, a Nigerian musician, who sang a song, and he speaks about wanting to be a Moses to lead his people to a promised land. But then when he saw the people who had tried to be Moses, who had died before, he was dissuaded from leading his people. And this is the situation of so many Nigerians. You see people persecuted on a daily basis. People who are even like in power, people who have more, let me say, financial strength than you, who have more exposure or education, and those people have been killed, so maybe have so much retaliation. So as a common person, as I said, if we are looking at it from your point of view, from your shoes, there's so much for you to lose. What protection is there for me if there was no protection for a journalist, for instance? What protection is there for me if there's no protection for someone who is like a minister who decides to do something on that level? So the idea of silence can sometimes be rational, this is where I was coming from. Because there is no protection for whistleblowers in general, a common, ordinary citizen finds it very difficult to speak. And being silent in that case is the wise choice, quote unquote. So,
okay. Thank you very much, Moses. You can see the depth. The writer needs a bit of depth because he wrote almost 8 pages. But I'll move to Anita next. And Anita is a spoken word artist. We might ask her to do a little bit of a piece on the podcast just for the interest of the audience. But you explore the emotional burden that a whistleblower bears when they have to choose between honesty, integrity, and self-preservation. Why do you think this will resonate so much with Nigerians? And then tell us a bit more about the piece.
So I decided to go through the emotional angle, and I really wanted my character to be a younger person because I would say our older people have done their thing and we have the larger number of Nigerian population are the youth. And if we really want to make the change we want more people to become whistleblowers, I need to target the message back to them. And young people, we want to achieve so much. We want to do the right thing, but we are being constrained by so many things. The same thing that fought your father, that fought your mother, is that same thing, if you are not careful, that is fighting you. And Ariola, the character Ariola, is a fresh graduate, and she finally got that dream job in that organization. But there are dirty deals happening there. And she's so right. You know when you've passed through a lot of struggles and finally it's your time to eat. And should I do it? Should I not do it? She went back and forth. I live very far away from work, juggling from Ikorodu to Aja. It's like traveling. But at the end of it, she decided that or than die, I will tell the truth. And it is so important for young people. Yes, we want luxury, we want comfort, we want everything, and we can come from that angle that we have suffered, but you're suffering and choosing because you have suffered and you want to silence the truth. You're protecting yourself, but protecting yourself is harming millions of people that you don't know. And the most scary thing is that the millions of people include your unborn children. So I was intentional that I didn't want to just do an advocacy, we make a change. No, I wanted them to understand that, see, it is real. It is real. You'll be there and you will be tempted to, but in the midst of that temptation, look beyond your physical standpoint, the mere situation, and have like a wider view of what is going to happen in the next 5-10 years with the decision that you're going to make. Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be proud about it? Is it the kind of legacy that you want to leave? Because see, with the youth, we only care about now. We don't do the 5 years, 10 years kind of thing. So I really wanted my poem to go from that emotional angle and walk the way down to finally land into the reality that, you know what, I will choose to do the right thing.
Thank you very much, Anita. We go to the musician last for this round, and then I'm going to Jimmy next. Jeremiah, you had a song, it's a rap, and it's called Voice Against Silence. So, Voice of the Silence. In your view, what are the biggest forces keeping people silent today? Is it fear? Is it apathy? Is it distrust? Something else? Tell us a bit about your work.
All right, so first in voice, I would like to target VOS. And also give it an intertwine by saying voice of the street. Now, when I say voice of the silence, I'm coming off as the voice. Now, breaking this thing into this complex issue into a very relatable term to the street. So that was why I used a mix of Pidgin English and English, so the street can connect to it, because I felt like music is a general language that connects everybody together. So I would say one of the reasons why people fear, people do not want to like whistleblow, is because they are scared of losing their head. Put it that way. So if there is a policy that, if there's a policy guiding it, a very strong policy guiding whistleblower, I feel a lot of people on the street, quote unquote on the street, would come out and actually speak the truth. there are a lot of people that actually want to say the truth. But you see them, when they talk to their friends, they be like, guy, you know, concern you, you guys stop this thing, you know, everything goes up if it happens. So, but as an artist, a musician, I need to lend my voice and give this thing. So I said something, I said, silent na fertilizer, where they make evil, they grow. Transparency will start when somebody stand up to talk. When one voice rise, yeah, go force others to talk, yeah. Like, and I said, Coco, be say, if you talk, protection will dey. Who go on losing life when the price too high to pay. So I'm trying to like tell them that, tell the government also that this policy should be put into place and make sure that whistleblowers are protected. So I just need to lend my voice to the street and make them understand what whistleblower is all about. So that's the question.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And congratulations to each of you for winning. We can tell you're very passionate about the topic and it wasn't just, you know, a mere entry. So thank you again. We hope your pieces inspire more whistleblowers. So before I hand over to Jimmy for the next round of questions, I wanted to hear from the PLAAF perspective. PLAAF has come up with a vision for this competition because of your passion for protecting whistleblowers in Africa. If you can speak a bit from PLAAF's perspective, why did we do this competition and what is your hope from what you've seen around how many Nigerian youth have engaged with the topic?
No, first of all, I want to congratulate everyone. So I think that it was an amazing experience that we are having with you. So that's why I came here to spend time with you. And I think that it's very, very important for us to engage youth in this fight. You know, I think that we are the first victim. Most of the time when they will ask me a question, why I'm fighting against corruption, why I'm protecting whistleblowers, I say, since I'm born, I can see the consequences of corruption. I can see the consequences when you don't have good governance can affect all the community. That's why having young people that they can discuss about whistleblowing, because I think that discussing about whistleblowing is also discussing about the future of Nigeria. Because you have natural resources here, but you have also poverty. You know that if you can have people that they can reveal, they can expose, they can disclose information that can help to improve and to have some reform in the country, we are trying to have a good future for all of us. That's why when she said that, no, you know, young people, they used to think about the present. Thinking about the future is also to put some mechanism that will help us to protect whistleblowers and to have good governance. That's why we wanted to have this topic about whistleblowing with young people, because we know that you will be the future. You will be the next president. You will be the next governor. You have to know that whistleblowing is important. That's why I think that PLAAF starting this project with Step Up Nigeria for trying to have these young people that they will try to tell adults that you are in the parliament, you are in the ministry, look at what you are supposed to do, because our future depends on the decision that you can take today.
Absolutely.
So that's why we started this competition, and we are very, very, very happy with the results that we are having now with you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. So I'll hand over to Jimmy for the next batch of questions.
Yeah, my question is gonna be, what was your perception before this competition about whistleblowing? Because I used to travel a lot discussing with people about whistleblowing, but when I can heard about the answer, sometimes not what is really whistleblower. What was your perception before? And with this experience that you are having with this competition, how can you explain people now about whistleblowing? So maybe with Moses.
Thank you for the question. Honestly, I didn't have much idea about whistleblowing before now. It was when the commission came and I saw it online, I went to read more about research. I did some research about whistleblowing. What because I didn't say about whistleblowing. I didn't pay attention to it. Thanks to Step Up Nigeria and PLAAF, because I think I'm going back home more trained, more refined, and also my vision as a human rights activist via my painting is enhanced by our whistleblowing. Now, during the course of the competition, I now begin to understand the whole idea of whistleblowing. We keep quiet a lot in Nigeria. We are too scared. We are too scared, and things keeps getting worse day by day. Whistleblowing is not gloomer, as they call it in the north. It's not amebo, as they call it in Yoruba land. Whistleblowing is, I think people just hate the people. They hate the act, not necessarily the people. But whistleblowing is about the act, not the people. When things are going on in my organization, for instance, I should not keep quiet. Or die and I die. If I talk, I will die. If I don't talk, I will die.
I perish, I perish.
We just have to make things right. That's my own idea about whistleblowing. I'm going no more encourage. And I think I will do more. I will do more. And I employ all Nigerians. Whistleblowing is not just for whistleblowers alone. It's the responsibility of every Nigerian. Wherever you are, your workplace, even in church, wherever you are, say the truth. Expose the corruption. It may not affect you now, it may affect somebody close to you. It may even damage you. So you're not saving yourself, like my colleagues earlier said. You are saving, maybe saving the future of your children or of your born children. So I'm going home now, more educated about whistleblowing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Moses. Anita?
All right. To be very, very sincere, so when I saw the contest, in my head, I'm like, oh, there's another contest to, talk about Nigeria. And I said, it wasn't whistleblowing, but what is this whistleblowing? So because I do a lot of contests, so I'm very particular about the theme. So I had to intentionally research, check, okay. And I said, really, there's a whistleblowing policy? Okay. So it has been very, very enlightening for me. I know whistle, but I've never heard the word whistleblower. Maybe I'd come across it in the dictionary, but I didn't know it was a thing. And there are people that are whistleblowers and they have a role and anybody can be a whistleblower. So it is enlightening for me. And for someone that has a ministry whereby I help mentor young children and I have like an ongoing outreach. There are things that I incorporate into our outreach. Okay, there's Pan-Africanism, there's self-discovery, there's mental health, because I feel like for a Nigerian citizen to be responsible, you have to be self-aware, and in being self-aware you have to have a good mental health, and in having a good mental health you must know the history of Nigeria if you really, really want to lead. So this is a beautiful thing if I would want to infuse in our curriculum, and I'm really, really, really grateful that I'm here. And it's not something that we end with just this competition. No, I'm the kind of person that I have wells of poems in my notepad, and towards the ending of the year I look forward to shooting one more poem, signing this thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think that what we are talking about is affecting everybody here. It's affecting everybody. And most of the time when you are discussing with people, they will tell you we will report wrongdoing, because we think that, when there is money for building some hospital for or schools, and people, they are robbing money and there is nobody saying nothing, silence can kill a lot of people.
Yes.
That's why we need to speak. Do you think that now that after this competition and the engagement that you are having with the society, do you think that people will speak up in Nigeria?
Thank you very much for the question. The issue of whistleblowing currently as it stands is two things. It's multifaceted. On one hand is the legal aspect of things, which is like legislation to protect whistleblowers, and the second hand is like the morality aspect of things, like what's the ideology of people in the country currently. So there's a lot of apathy, a lot of disillusionment, that's the word. Like people don't hear, and what we are trying to do with this competition is try to bring their minds back to show that we are not living alone. We are in a community, and what affects your brother affects you. What affects your neighbor affects you. So will people be more interested in whistleblowing? I'm really hoping there will be, because of the amount of publicity we have done carrying out this contest. I mean, 30 states in the country, we have 36 states, and more than 30 states, people from all over the states were submitting applications. We all have followings on social media, so people have also seen what we are trying to do, and this sparks curiosity, sparks the conversation. So I believe to a particular extent, yes, this competition does a lot to spotlight what whistleblowing is and try to change this ideology on it. And on the other hand, we are also calling
for the government to, give us these laws that actually do protect whistleblowers, because that's a very essential part of the whole thing. If the legislation is there, people will be more confident to come out and speak against wrongdoings.
Yeah, maybe I want to add something, because you are talking about something that is very important, having a law. But the experience that we are having in Africa, I think it can be also something that we can say for Nigeria. There is law that they can exist, but for applying them, it becomes a big problem. So that's why it's also the way that people, they will trust about the institution that they have in front of them. If they can come to report and they know that after reporting there is some action, legal action, injustice, they will trust about the process and they will come to blow the whistle. So I think that we need something strong, and we need also a political will from our leaders to put in place a law, but to be able to apply it at the same time. So what do you think that is missing now in Nigeria? Legally, but you have to, because we have only this policy but it's only based on
financial crimes.
Right. But you have to know that when we are talking about whistleblower, it's not only about financial crimes, even environment, public health, human rights violation. So we need to have an advocacy when we are trying to call for a law to have this whole matter in.
So to understand, just because of this platform, that it is beyond corruption, that sextortion and the likes, just wrongdoing in general. So we need to just educate every one of us, everybody, the young ones in particular, because we are the future, the leaders of tomorrow. That's what they call us. So we just need to educate ourselves, and I feel we go somewhere from there.
So maybe with Jeremiah, where is him?
Jerry, he's
Jeremiah, that's Moses.
Gilbert and Gabriel.
Okay, and Gabriel. So what do you gonna, if you have the parliament, because the law is supposed to be in the parliament now, because I think that civil society in Nigeria, they did the work before. There is a bill at the level of the parliament. If you were in front of the parliament, what do you gonna ask them for whistleblowing in Nigeria?
I will ask them for policies in Nigeria, actually, but enforcing them is the problem. So they need to make those laws and make sure they are being carried out, like they are being enforced. And there'll be a monitoring body to make sure it's working. That's what I'll ask them for. That whistleblowers are being protected. Then probably avenues are created too, where you can blow this whistle without being haunted by anybody. Nobody will know. You can do it and remain anonymous. If that can be done, I think it will go a long way to shaping the country to a better extent.
Yeah, anonymous is very, very important. Because we need to give the opportunity to everybody to blow the whistle. If you want to reveal your identity, you can do it. But if you don't, anonymous is very, very important, because we need to give the opportunity to everybody to blow the whistle. If you want to reveal your identity, you can do it. But if you don't want, because you don't want to be victim of retaliation, you need to have this kind of channel that give you opportunity to blow the whistle. I feel that is a big discussion, and when we are talking about protecting whistleblower, it's not only about the whistleblower himself, it's also about people close to the whistleblower. Because when they want to attack you, they can attack your family, they can attack people that they are close to. That's why the law that we need is supposed to cover this whole aspect of the protection. So it's very, very, very important. And we are thinking that with the message now that we are putting in the social media in public, people will understand and they will advocate more for protection of whistleblower in Nigeria.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you all for that round of responses. This is our last round, so I'll go around the room again, and I'll start with Gabriel. Young people complain a lot about governance. We complain about the government. We complain about what we don't like. But do you think young Nigerians have talked enough about what our own responsibility is? Where it's easy to point fingers, but there's also civic responsibility, and how much of that do we acknowledge as young people?
Thank you very much for the question. Nigeria is a topic I speak about almost every day. There wasn't a time I tried to be apathetic. because I felt like it was weighing down my mental health. Because every single day I'm speaking with my friends about one issue on the government or another issue, economics, security-wise. There's so many things. You're on Twitter, you read the news and you see so many things. It really weighs down you sometimes, and you want to avoid it. But you can't avoid it because you live in the nation. So have young people done enough? The answer is no. And it's hurtful in a way, because you have put in some effort and not seeing the result. It takes a lot of will to continue even when you are not seeing the results. There's this thing we have to come to terms with, that the nation we are fighting for, the better nation we are fighting for, we may not even live to see it. Yes, but for the fact that you are fighting for a future that you may not see, but at least we are going somewhere. In my essay, I speak about something called an insistent minority. So when you look at things in a numbers way, like you feel, on a scale of numbers, some people are educated, some people actually care about these things. But there's a power in an insistent minority that if we are only 10 people who, for instance, care about, let's say, littering in this place, and every single day we come out to talk about littering, talk about this thing, for the fact that we're doing it every single day, give us 6 months, we recruit one more person. Give us a year, we have 5 people join us. So while we are complaining, while we are trying our best, we should not relent. We should keep going. We should keep going. Because as the first line of my essay says, if you are silent in the face of injustice, then you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Moses, what do we do about the mindsets of young people? There's distrust. We don't trust the government. And just like Jimmy said earlier, even if the government passed a law, how confident are we that this is going to be something that will be implemented? And that has led to apathy. Like Gabriel said, most young people, they just want to work, get enough money to eat and pay their house rent, and then yeah. So what do we do about this mindset about young people around trust and apathy, and how do we get more people energized?
Thank you very much for that question. I think many Nigerian youth, we can easily start up a thing. We can easily raise our voice, but for how long? Like you said, change will not come one day. It may not come 10 years. Your resilient spirit is what will bring up the change. I think youth need to be sensitized that even though we are trying, we are hoping that protection of whistleblowers should be implemented. But why that is yet to happen, we'll all have, I'm talking to my fellow youth, we all have a duty, a national duty, to use our creative expression, because it is actually a voice that could produce social change. Nigerians are very creative. Take, for instance, look at the submissions, the 170 plus submissions. They're actually creative. I'm talking of skills and content and every that thing. I think what Nigeria, we need more sensitization. Youth needs to be sensitized. And I think we are too distracted in this country. Honestly, we are too distracted. That's how I speak more with my paintbrush and colors than speaking openly, because it got a time it was affecting my mental health. You can go online, you see something, for instance, about a week ago, some people are posting their account number on bandit post. Sir, it was disgusting. I just had to angrily, I went back to sleep.
So we're asking for
dates. Yes.
Sir, it was disgusting, but it doesn't make sense. Why? No, that means we are leaving the important things and focusing on non-important things. I think we need more sensitization in the country, and a lot of people need to be educated. That the earlier we start blowing whistle, and the earlier we start exposing corruption, it's better for us. If not, that will remain like this forever, no matter how much we pray. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Moses. I absolutely agree with you. We need to place our focus on what's more important.
Yeah.
And I think some of the things are... Thank you very much, Moses. I absolutely agree with you. We need to place our focus on what's more important.
Yeah.
And I think some of the things are like to cope with the mental health issues, we're almost numbing the pain by trivializing issues or choosing not to even engage on the topic at all. So if we don't talk, then we can pretend the problem doesn't exist. But the sooner we wake up, and like Jimmy said, it's not just about now, it's about future generations. So thank you very much. Gilbert, you're a filmmaker, you're a storyteller. What conversations do you hope the content that you've all created starts in a room? What kind of conversations do you hope this sparks?
By the time you begin to see yourself, feel what is happening, with that you have a way of thinking. Then you move down. By the time you have with that you have a way nature in you. You want a working country. You want a system that is working. So how then can I contribute? So by the time you begin to have that self-reflection, it will give you a guide way to bring out things. So by the time you've seen all this content, you've heard people talking about the whistleblowing, the act, and the wrongdoings in the environment. And we've also sparked something saying you need to be courageous to say it out. See something, say it out. So don't just see it and keep silence. So with all this act we've illustrated in our different categories, any reasonable person who wants to change, who knows what is good for the nature or for the nation, will actually know what to do. Because he communicated somebody unveiling corruption. You've seen that, okay, fine, once there's any corruption, try as much as possible to get evidence and say it out. The same thing also he has said in his essay and the song also. Just like in the film also, just like the lady Ivie. So see something, say it out. Be courageous enough. Be patriotic, be a patriotic person, not because of the individual doing it, but because you want the nation to move forward. So that's the conversation I feel it should spark for people that have seen all of us.
Public good over personal gain, and I think that's the message you're communicating. Thank you. Jerry, you're a teacher, so you work with children on the side as well. I wanted to know from your experience with very young people, what do you think is the missing link? What are we getting wrong in grooming the next generation to prepare them for this kind of fight?
All right. I would say what we're actually missing, we're missing a lot of things. A lot. If I start pinpointing this, but I'm just going to say one of the things we miss is the educational aspect of teaching these young ones about whistleblowing. Now, not all of them understand these things. And I feel like as a teacher to add my own quota to it, to make sure I participate in this, I'm going back to my kids, let me put it that way, and make sure I tell them that if you sit down and you see something bad happening in your environment, for example, let's say somebody is charging a phone somewhere with a naked wire, and you see it, and there is a petrol station beside your house, and you feel like, maybe it's their house. You discover that the house will get burnt, your own house is going to get burnt also, the whole environment is going to get burnt. So why not see it and say it? So I feel like as a teacher, what is actually missing is just sensitization, as I said. So we need to pass this thing into the educational sector and make sure we teach them.
Thank you, Jerry. I think that's brilliant in that whistleblowing has to be a culture that we learn. We've learned secrecy. Yeah. We've learned how to cover up evil. We've learned to mind our business. We've learned to be uninterested. We can unlearn that, and for those who are still young, we can teach them a different.
I can add this to it. In my place of work, I work in an only girls' school, so we used to have this sensitization talk with them. So ladies, they will tell them when you see something, you say something. If anybody touches you anyhow, you need to speak out. You don't need to keep quiet. So something like that, if it is inculcated in every educational sector, like in schools, everywhere we are. So I feel like kids also will catch up with it, and the parents too at home, because we have informal and we have formal education. Yeah. So we need to also do this.
So let's build a culture of whistleblowing as early on. Thank you. And then for this round, finally, Anita, I want you to answer the question. I think Nigeria would be better if, and I'm going to leave you to complete that. Okay.
Tight one because I'm a mental health advocate, but so I'll join it together. I feel Nigeria would be better if we have citizens that are mentally whole, psychologically well, are self-aware of who they are well informed about their history, but are willing to correct the errors of the past so that their generation will not be carrying trauma. Because trauma is not just mental. Trauma can be anything. And right now, the state that Nigeria is in, we are traumatized from different things. So that's why now we are seeing it in corruption, in bribe, in the election season, people are rigging. So it's a lot of things, and we need to heal from it. So Nigeria will be better if Nigeria is healed.
Okay, that's heavy, and that's an entire podcast, a whole new other discussion. So as we wrap up, I want to hear final thoughts from everyone. I'll go around the winners and then Jimmy's final thoughts, and then I'll wrap up. So look at your, you're looking into the eyes of Nigerians who are watching, Nigerian youth who are hearing this for the first time, or they're confused, or they're scared, or they're just, I want a word of encouragement and your final thoughts as you wrap up speaking to Nigerians. And it's an open check, so I'll start with Moses.
Thank you. Wherever you are, my fellow Nigerians, speak up when you see something is not done the right way. No voice is too small. You are not too small. You and I can make Nigeria great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and to every Nigerian seeing us, please, I want to say be courageous enough to speak out any evil when you see it happening. And don't just do it alone. If you know anybody you can teach that person also to speak out, because most persons are not online to see and all that. So teach your children at home as they're growing up, your neighbors, anybody you know you can teach them also to whistleblow whenever they see any wrongdoing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anita.
So I'll pick a line from my poem, and which is, what is the comfort of one to the discomfort of 241 million people? My brother, my sister, silence must not balance this sheet.
Okay.
Thank you. Jerry.
All right, see, me I go just talk the language we understand. See, me una come and talk. See, me una lie yourself. See, if you no talk this thing, it go still dey. See, it just be like fertilizer. If you put fertilizer inside evil, me put it like that, it go just dey grow. It go dey grow. And the funniest part is there's a Yoruba adage for the Yoruba viewers. I'm going to translate in English. It said, "Baba soku soja." So I'll just put it this way, that when you throw a stone to the market, it might hit someone that you know. So it shows that if you don't speak up, my brother, it can affect you, affect your unborn children, probably when you are gone. So, bro, I beg, speak up. If you don't see something really no good, talk. You know, die. If you no talk, you die. If you talk, you die. Why not talk?
Thank you very much, Jerry and Gabriel.
I don't have any pigeon. Okay, I would say to the Nigerians out there, you do not have to be in a position of power to make change. The ordinary citizen also has a part to play. If you see something wrong in your place of work, in your family, around your churches, religious organizations, it is your civic duty to say something about it. So you do not have to be in a position of power to make change. The citizens themselves are powerful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriel. Okay, so Jimmy, and maybe speak not just on behalf of Nigeria, but because PPLAAF's work is continental and how much the advocacy you're doing is continent-wide, and we would like to get your final thoughts as well.
Definitely what I can say, if we are in this situation, social situation in Africa and specifically in Nigeria, because people used to keep silent. Because we chose to keep silent, we are living now in poverty. We don't have hospital, we don't have schools. But if we need to change, there is people that we are supposed to protect, and they are whistleblowers. I think that it was mentioning during this podcast about how distraction is more in our country. You can see even the social media in TikTok. When you want to have view, it's supposed to be something not linked about how to develop the country. is something that is putting us in the situation we are not even thinking about what is our future. So that's why I think that it's very important that this kind of message to share it with everyone and to take time. If you have the chance today to think the way that you are thinking, I can tell you that you are very different comparing to the other young people that they can be enjoying their life, talking about something else, but not what is very important. Because what is very important is your future. I used to talk with my parents to tell them what is the legacy that you are giving us. But after 10 years, I'm becoming father. I know that my kids, they will ask me the same question. So that's why I think that you mentioned it. I want to tell them maybe we are not having the result today, but look at the way that we choose, because we think that at the end we can change something. We have everything in this continent and we cannot be in the situation that we are now. That's why I think that we need to encourage people that they can speak and to change our social situation. So this is a message for us. That's why we think that one of the key to promote governance in Africa is to protect whistleblower. And I think that Nigeria will be the next country to have a whistleblower protect law in Africa.
Thank you. Wow, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Gilbert. On our podcast today, we have discussed the cost of telling the truth and celebrating the truth tellers. This is in celebration of World Whistleblower Day 2026. We'd like to thank our partners at the Platform to Protect Whistleblowers in Africa, PPLAAF, and all the 170 plus Nigerians who engage with this competition. You may not be one of the winners, but you're winners still, because we have shared your entries. They have views. You're causing engagement. You're creating advocacy. You're creating content that is educating Nigerians about the importance of whistleblowing and whistleblower protection. And so our call to you all Nigerians watching and listening is, what will you do today? You've heard heavy words. They're on your conscience. Don't shake it off. Don't numb the voice in your head. Begin to think like these young people. What can I do differently? I will choose not to be silent. I will choose to act. I will choose to play my part to ensure that Nigeria and Africa as a whole come out of this miry situation that we're in, and that together we build a nation and a continent that we can be proud of, not just for ourselves, but for the generations to come. And so on behalf of Step Up Nigeria, I'd like to say thank you. If you're interested in the topic that we're having, or you even have something, a whistle that you want to blow, please, our partners at PPLAAF are there to protect whistleblowers. Their website is www.plaaf, that's PPLAAF.org. So you can reach out to them on their website, send them an email if you're interested. Our website is stepupnigeria.org. Same names on social media, Step Up Nigeria everywhere. PPLAAF is PPLAAF everywhere as well. So if you'd like to contact us and reach out, and we wish you a very happy World Whistleblower Day 2026, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let's say happy World Whistleblower Day. 1, 2, 3. Happy World Whistleblower Day. Thank you.